Apart from that press conference and the print media scream about it, that is the end of the story. So we hold the ruling class responsible for all this that is going on.
Yeah, permit me, you talked about press conference, and at one of the recent press conferences, would you really support the lifting of state of emergency in the 15 states of the North? Has it really helped security formation?
Well, the state of emergency did not produce anything anyway. Don't forget that before this latest state of emergency in about four states, there was one some years ago in Plateau, where a whole governor, the real state of emergency, where a governor was asked to step aside and the military took over and so on and so forth. And what happened? Did peace come back to Plateau? Now, how do you explain a town under curfew, the whole state under a state of emergency, a particular city like Kaduna or Maiduguri under curfew, and you still hear bombings, you still hear killings? Then what happened to all those checkpoints? Now the checkpoint became a big nuisance. If you are familiar with Abuja-Kaduna Road, was a sensible driving, normal thing is really a 2-hour drive. But because of the checkpoints in Sileja, where you have 7 vehicles facing one direction, only one can pass at a time. At the end of the day, the other side, you hear bombing or you hear killings. So you wonder what is going on, what is the use of all these things? What is the use of the checkpoints? Then again, when people in uniform use the excuse of state of emergency to go and terrorize people, all that they hear is a rumor that there is a bombing somewhere, and then they go and cordon off the area, enter house to house, intimidate ordinary people who have nothing to do with it, who also are victims. So if that's what state of emergency does in Nigeria, then there is no need for it.
Are you saying that the perpetrators have support from within?
Well, this is Nigeria. It's not just they have support from within, they live with us. It's urban terrorism. Urban terrorism is not conventional war. Conventional war, the other party is also in uniform. You can identify yourself with the opposite number. This one are ordinary people like anybody else. And the notorious motorcycle called Okada, these terrorists go about on Okada and attack their targets. So, where are they coming from? They are coming from individual houses like any other person.
So do you think that grassroots security intelligence network can help to fish out these people alongside with the police? You
see, once upon a time, that's what Nigeria used to be. Once, in those days, the strong E department of the police, that's security department of the police, nobody ever heard of NSO or SSS now. All these new paramilitary groups did not exist. It was just Nigerian police then. But because of the carryover from the colonial disciplinary police system we inherited, that's what it used to be. The police people even go with knickers. That was their uniform, also a replica of what British police used to look like. So, but immediately something happens. From the ward head to the village head to the district head, especially in northern Nigeria where this administrative setup is prevalent. Stories come in immediately, an outsider comes. Even if there's a break-in into a particular house, immediately the local police then come to know about it. In their mind, they figure out who is the likely suspect. And out of their trial and error, whatever it is, rural psychology, they end up catching the culprit.
Why is it difficult to figure out what their missions are, what their terms of reference are, the sects, getting the sects to know what is really their grievances, unlike the Niger Delta militants, where we know that their grievance is sharing formula and also the state of environmental degradation. In the case of this one you're talking about, it's a bit difficult to figure out what their missions are. Why is it so?
Well, when you compare the two, actually it's like comparing oranges and bananas. Yeah, they are all fruits. They are all these things are terrorism. But one is materialistic, which you can easily find out. They're looking of money. When you give them, you solve the problem. The other one is ideological. Some people believe that their leader was killed unjustly and there are other relations and so on, that their own lifestyle is not allowed to prevail, even if their lifestyle contravenes the lifestyle of other people.
When you say ideology, is that really devoid of a political agenda?
Well, I don't believe there's a political agenda in that one. It's when people believe in something, people can do a lot of things. Don't forget that outside Nigeria, you have Americans like Reverend Jim Jones, who took a lot of Americans, young intellectual Americans, to Guyana and convinced them to commit suicide. And they did. And these are not ordinary people, they are all enlightened people. And back in the days of Metes Ine 32 years ago, almost 32 years ago, for whatever reason, people like you and me will find it incomprehensible. But somewhere along the line, Metes Ine, Muhammad Marwan Metes Ine then, convinced his supporters that he had the key to heavens. Therefore, it was their duty to fight and defend him so they can die before him. If they die after him, that means they will go to hell because he has the key. So if people can accept that kind of argument and work and kill themselves for it.
Bringing these spiritual dimensions into play now, would you say clergies, our spiritual leaders, need a lot of work to do in terms of giving the right orientation to Nigerians?
Well, the issue is bigger than spiritual leaders. You know, we have every corner now, we have religious people all over the place. A lot of religious literature, religious broadcasting, religious everything. But those preachers themselves, do they really believe in what they are preaching? Do they teach by example? Then when you say all that one, when people are pauperized, people have nothing to hope for. The normal human being will love to have a steady life and live a happy life with shelter and something to do and reproduce and live a generation to succeed them. The day somebody now give up completely, life doesn't mean anything, it has no meaning, then whoever is ruling that system must do a soul searching and find out what am I doing wrong that pushed people to this extreme position.